Hello, dear party people of the train. Um, I got some personal stuff going on that completely sucks big time in my life regarding family. So I will probably, let's see, uh, be, I might be taking some time tomorrow and Wednesday, and then come back full time Thursday, Friday. These things happen, but I have a bunch of stuff I need to deal with, and it's unfortunate. But again, all kinds of stuff happens in life, right? Now, let me go through the recap real quick here with you, and then we will see where we are tomorrow, and I'll tell you my plan. Uh, Today was one of those days, right, where the market makers showed their hands in a really, really dirty way. Let me pull up SPY here instead. We did nothing, and they collected premiums. We had this wedge going down, and usually they resolve at the end, but what we saw here was, it's very interesting because I looked into this. There was a 1.2 billion QQQ print, right? A dark pool print. However, it did not show up here. It reflected in a giant SPY spike. Okay. But at least I don't know how they market or this and that. Obviously, there was a little bit of QQQ buying, but on the stuff I look at, it was huge on SPY, right? I'll get back to this chart in a second. And usually when, it's the end of the month, right? It's literally the end of the month, and they pull like an earnings type of candle. If we open up underneath here tomorrow, and listen to me very carefully right now, we still have that ghost candle, right? Tomorrow is Tuesday. We have a early high. Now, what does early high mean? Early high means if you gap down underneath here, you're probably going to sell. An early high, if you gap above this, means you could have a really strong day. That's what it means. Okay? Now, I had literally cut a bunch of positions I was in right around here, and then they do this. So I'm like, but again, I think that the 462 calls, were like 58 cents here, and they closed at 49. So that's pretty much what they did across the board today. It's very rare that you get terrible days like this. This was not only a tight range, and you can scalp all you want, but let's say you bought here, you're finally getting some action, and then you just slammed down. It was really, really, really tricky today. There was no follow through, nothing, and very frustrating to trade. And you look at the broader, you're like, oh, that's curling up, but it was all chop. This 1 hour, we hit the high we had been talking about early on, and then sold, and then we're back there. So this was a miniature model of Thursday, Friday, basically. Okay, so what does this mean? Bigger picture. Either we are completely unable to break through this level, like it's not going to happen. It's not gonna happen. And again, that Bank of Japan news was used right there, and we just can't get through it. And the longer we stay here without getting through, the harder we will fall. And remember, we still have a ghost candle to 452. Okay, now if we can get through this, I think we can have a stab at 461, 462. So tomorrow I will wake up early. I have a bunch of unfortunate stuff I got to deal with, on my end regarding my mother. So I'll be on. I'll see if we can, be up here pre-market and fly. I'll play it. But other than that, guys, for this week, I have to concentrate on earnings because there's no way I can make any money unless I'm like super heavy in. And again, just look at this. You want to be super heavy in this shit? No, you don't. Like, even if you're in some puts and you make a few of these will kill you. And if you're in calls and you're, busting out some calls, boom, down. Now you got to average down because the calls have, and it's just like, I don't like it at all. So I'm going to be concentrating on earnings. Now, again, IWM closed above that Thursday sell. So keep that in mind. Dow Jones did not. What threw me off this morning was QQQ wicking up. I was actually looking at SPY. It wicked above that level. All right, which is huge and obviously was smacked down. And now closed way below when SPY, on the other hand, is right up there. So clearly, Twitter might be labeling some, dark pool buys as QQQ, but the fact of the matter is that it could also be SPY, who knows. But my data says SPY, so I'll go with that because SPY closed right up there with the top of today, and QQQ did not, and tech was weak all day. All right. Today I wanted to show you, I was saying, look at this, Meta, huge net premiums for $713 million. And you compare the next top, Tesla, for 8.7. So something's going to come on Meta. So, you might want to check that out. And again, look at where we closed. This is so dirty. After hours, we're at 457, but we closed at, we're at 458, but we closed at 457. And you look at this data, anybody who trades 0DT looks at this stuff, nothing here. So that must have been a fun, end of the month bonus, whatever. We're going to slam it. What I do think it is to corrupt the chart. Okay, here's the SPX dailies, right? This candle was not that green. Okay, it was literally an indecision candle, a doji. After that shows an inside bar, so the next to that being down. So tomorrow's open is going to be very interesting and tricky. I have to say, after really playing it pretty well all summer long, they've just gotten as dirty as they can. Anyway, 10-year yield here, it's hit this level 3 times. It's getting really close and far away from our levels. Okay, that is also a huge issue here, and that is why the market's acting this way. If these cups and handles, you got some serious economic turmoil on your hands. VIX, everyone who traded today was looking at VIX to go into the gap, and when it did that, for SPY to move, it did not. All right, it didn't do it. It only moved on this candle, and we'd come all the way down. So that's dirty too. So this could literally gap fill and shoot back up tomorrow. So be at full vigilance here. I remember back in the W days, it was code red, code orange, code yellow. So this is definitely code orange here. the culprit is not only the 10-year yield, but it's the Dixie. It's going higher and higher and higher and higher. And as long as this goes higher, SPY's going to have a hard time going higher, even with the VIX going down. Okay? And sorry if I'm not sounding all freaking peachy today. This is still going up and it's curling. That tells me more upside. So again, I'm not saying we're not going to get to 462. I think we get there. I mentioned in the chat, how do we get there? It could be literally be a gap up with a quick week. Everyone jumps in and then market craps. Or it could be, you know, end of day tomorrow. We do this shit all day. We gap up a little bit. We come down. I mean, that's unless we gap down. And then right at the end, they do the thing again that they've been doing. Because they did it today. They did it Friday. And obviously, you all remember Thursday, the buying opportunity of the month right there. So our chart says that tomorrow should be a up day. Okay? Let me pull it up for you guys. For all the new people, we have this seasonality chart, and tomorrow is August 1st. Should be an up day, early high, maybe on Wednesday. We'll see. This is not, you know, this gives direction, okay? It's not bulletproof to the minute, day, hour, you know, but it does show a really big fall on Thursday. Could be Friday, you know. I think it has to do with Apple. We will see. The tick today closed red. Okay, Bitcoin not very awesome. We covered all of that. Vol-D though today, and this is where it's just the market makers can do whatever they want. It is really, this has to be, out of all the years I've traded this last week, tricky. At least for me, it's been really tricky. That looks like a rally day when you compare it to all the rally days we've had. So what's going on here, right? Exactly. And even, you know, you have Meta with all those calls, didn't do nothing today. So they're playing games big time. Obviously, DP again worked on there. Very odd that it's not really reflected here. But what I wanted to show you was this. You guys remember when I showed you Google? Flow was going down. DP was going up, right? Flow was going down. Not the best dark pool example, but still. Dark pool hovering up there. So Microsoft, on the other hand, had flow going up and dark pool going down. Now, ANET beat today with what I'm going to call the Google setup, as did CAR. Okay? Now, we have all these earnings coming up, right, this week. Tomorrow, I might wake up, play the opening. I'm just being upfront with you guys. I'm probably gonna have to deal with a few things over the next few days. So my apologies to all the new people that I've joined. We're stoked. It has to do with my mother's health. She's got cancer and is not doing good and all that. So I got to be in contact with back home and, you know, arrange stuff and things like that. So, but I'm hoping I got everything set up on Thursday. So tomorrow I might look at the open. There's a good possibility if the flow setup and the DP setup is there for AMD that I will play the AMD earnings. Might do Starbucks. I'm not going to touch Pinterest. It can do crazy stuff, right? My focus here is then on Wednesday. Obviously, if we hit 462 on Wednesday, I would love to hit a short. My problem here is I think that a lot of these names are going to beat. So, again, even though I would love for Robinhood to go up, and you know I'm a Robinhood fan, we've had great success with it this summer. Problem is, I looked over the Robinhood chart. It could have a dollar move, and it's got a history of literally selling off before open. So I'll be looking at this. Unity, moves in the morning, so I can only imagine on a great earnings if it could do good. Oxy, it's tricky, man. But Qualcomm, Shopify, and PayPal. So I'll be looking at these to the upside if the setup's there, right? And then on Thursday, depending upon where we are, I still think this market has, yes, you look at the daily chart and it looks like it's just been going up, but it hasn't for a few days. You see, the last week was, a tight range up and down. We had that horrible Thursday thing happen, and then they gapped it up, and that was a choppy day, and today was a joke. So on the daily it might look good, and on the hourly very tradable, but it's been really tricky. And it's not the price that's made it tricky, it's the premiums, okay? Because we trade options and they have just been destroying premiums like never before, because they know a lot of people play options, right? So I'm thinking we get a larger move this week, and I will be looking at it. Okay, and come back strong later in the week when we get some directions. Now Apple also got that candle, but I mean, you can scalp that, but again, premiums, right? Tesla, same thing. It had a nice run there in the morning, but also really choppy, like no good smooth moves. Same with that. Today we saw a move on Carvana, right? All right. We had a good pop, sold off, chugged back up there. So, anyone who got in there didn't really make any money unless you sold there. So very, very trappy action. Netflix was the move of the day, in my opinion. I saw it, wrote it in the chat. Didn't think that, I could really jump on it. It would have been a great trade. Unity was held up surprisingly well, should I say, even after that morning sell-off. Clearly at the end, also indices, but Unity doesn't really track them. It's gonna do that thing in the morning where it runs. So this could actually be a great short if, but then again, it's got earnings in 2 days. So usually for all you new people, it will move aggressively in the morning and then sell off. That's what it does. Nvidia, again, like no follow through. I'm in some AI because it, as you can see, this is where we opened at 40, closed at 42. Did this do the premiums any justice? No, of course not. You want one of those, not this. But again, positive position nevertheless. UPST kind of followed that as well. Microsoft, same thing as Alltech. Now, oil, again, usually sells after earnings, even if they're good. So just keep that in mind. As you can see here, right after close, you got some QQQ puts. Nothing huge or major. I mean, 250K is pretty huge, but they can also be in the millions. I almost feel like the market is waiting to play earnings, and then it'll get going. I mean, that Apple earnings is huge on Thursday, as is Amazon. Let's look at Amazon. I mean, who wants to sit through that? So it's you compare these moves to earlier summer when we were just chugging up, and now we've had this. So could the cup be in and this is the pullback now and then the handle? Absolutely possible. So again, tomorrow I'll be on at open and then I will step away for a little bit. I'll give you my range, all that usual stuff, give you my thoughts. Maybe I take a trade. Then I'll come in end of day to see if I play AMD or Starbucks and if I get a clear signal. And then Wednesday, probably same thing. And then I'll be back on Thursday and Friday to trade full time. You know, it's also important when you trade that your head is on it and in the right spot. And I always strive to give you the best of me that I can. Now, I still wanted to show you the market flow. Clearly, we got to move higher. But look, this is also in the 20s. It's not 60 or, you know. But there's something going on with Meta. I mean, that is some insane flows. I don't know what's... There's going to be news on Meta. You don't see those type of premiums and then nothing happens, okay? But it's earnings week. We'll see what happens. Wednesday's loaded. Thursday's huge for the market. Absolutely huge. I mean, again, if I can trust successfully the DP and the flow setup, because they always change. It depends on how they're playing. That's why I've been monitoring it, you know. But if the setup's there for these, I'll take them. Same for here. And if the setup's here, if this is looking like it's got a bunch of flow, and this is looking like it's got a bunch of flow, but there's no DP there there's nothing under the hood, I'm going to play puts on these, and then I'm not going to touch them until they expire on Friday. Okay? And you know that I love to play upside, but because I like, you know, stockholders to make money. But there's real risk with us not bumping through here with conviction. And they do this type of shit, because then someone might come in and look at, oh, it closed there, okay, cool, we're still, you know, we're going for it, not knowing that, you know, it did nothing all day. And I mean, that's one hell of a move. But that's the market makers for you. They can literally do that. Anyways, God bless and love your family and hug your kids and your significant other and tell them that you love them. And we're gonna ride this train for a long, long time. So it's okay to take a few hours to tend to other stuff. Love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.